gets a historical percentage of minority votes. And there are counties where between 75, 100,000, in some cases, I guess there was one, 23.5 thousand ballots show up. Not one single Trump voter. They also happen to be ballots that don't talk about any of the races other than president. Does anyone believe that this is possible? No! Because it's not. It's a statistical impossibility, and yet it's happening not just once, but over and over again. This is the kind of nonsense that has to stop.
Donald Trump Jr. making an impassioned, beautiful case for his father. And we're joined right now by his significant other. She happens to have a very significant role in the campaign, National Chair of Trump Victory Finance Committee, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Welcome back. How are you?
Great to be here with you.
All right. You're fresh back from Georgia, right?
Literally, yes. Was there last night. Don Jr. did a phenomenal job, just really impassioned, as you said, making the case to say, listen, we all want the same thing in this country, right? We want a fair, election. We want votes to be counted that are valid, that are legal, and we want votes that are invalid and illegal tossed out. It's that simple, and every American should want that. We request the transparency, the ability to examine these votes, and to make sure that this actually isn't somebody, trying to steal the election. And that's why we're making such a robust legal challenge in all of these states, Georgia included. And that's Vernon Jones, who was there with us last night as well. We had Sonny Perdue there today, and we had Lynn Wood, who we also retained for the campaign to be able to help lead this charge. The president requested that he get on board, and he was happy to do so.
Lynn Wood is one legal powerhouse. Now, look, the mainstream media, and I think you've got to spread the word maybe in the rank and file, they are really pushing the narrative that this thing is essentially over, that there's no such thing as voter fraud. I don't believe any of that, by the way, but they are relentlessly pushing that, and I think they're hoping that it catches on, even with people who love and support the president.
Well, listen, this isn't something that's, made up here. It's not fictitious. The bottom line is we will present compelling evidence that will be persuasive. We are doing what we're entitled to do constitutionally, which is take it through the legal process, challenge it in the courts, and then we will decide. And that's the bottom line. But as our position right here, you can't have it. It makes no sense. Our position is President Trump is the elected president, and he will be the one that prevails at the end of this process. And we're going to be thorough. It's what the American people deserve, to make sure that the right person is in the White House and not someone who, through the benefit of ballots showing up at the last minute, malfunctions, a water main breaking in Georgia conveniently, and they told everybody to go home. And then guess what resumed? The counting resumed, and Fox 5 actually got it on tape, and so they're being asked to come forward with that, but they didn't air it.
Something interesting happened at 8. A lot happened on election night, but at about 8 o'clock, Florida, great big electorally rich Florida, went to Donald Trump at about 8 p.m. Newsmax called it. Here's that moment.
Florida 51-48 right now. That has been called for the president.
That's in Florida what we call a landslide.
It's always a tight state. He keeps Florida, Sean.
7:45, actually, East Coast time. While that NBC didn't call it until well after midnight. Right. And my theory is that spooked the mainstream media and Democrats, and it sent their plans, whatever they may be, into high gear. That they realized they had to scramble to make this thing happen. Am I onto something?
Yeah, I mean, just listen, it's common sense. You really think that the American people are the naive and aren't asking questions? You see, everybody wants, to know what happened here, what transpired, and what's wrong with actually making sure that valid votes are counted and tabulated. This is the problem that we're having here. And so this election, I don't see any way, shape, or form where you can call, Joe Biden president-elect, because he doesn't have the votes, and that's the facts. And we're still counting in Arizona. They're still counting in North Carolina. They're still counting in Pennsylvania. They're still counting in Georgia. We're expecting the military ballots to come in, some 8,000 votes. Some of them will have already been taken into account, but a majority of them will not. We're waiting for that. We should know more on Monday. That's it.
These are very, very tight races. But again, with Florida is so diverse, and it's so big, and it's so electorally rich. and it went so decisively to Donald Trump. Doesn't that, and oh, by the way,
in a very specific way, where he was able to also get more votes from suburban women, from Latinos, from Hispanics, all of the above, Cuban Venezuelans, Puerto Ricans, and African Americans. So, that's disturbing. That's what's shaking right now the left and the liberal establishment.
And they also had a mail-in program that was established many years prior. So they knew how to do it, whereas Pennsylvania, I believe, and Wisconsin and Michigan were kind of jamming these programs in last minute. They didn't have, it wasn't perfected. Fair enough?
Absolutely. And so Governor DeSantis actually ran a very good program there and was making sure that everything was legal and valid, and that's what you want. We're looking for irregularities, problems that have happened here. Do you think it's fair to dilute somebody else's vote by letting someone vote twice?
I don't.
Good.
Okay.
That's the correct answer, yeah. It wasn't a trick question.
What are you going to do? Mark Halperin is here a lot, and he talks about the PR campaign to this. And, in 2000, they appointed Jim Baker, former Secretary of State, to marshal the effort. With this administration, appropriately so, the president is in charge. But will there be a recount czar? Will there be someone on the ground who's kind of in charge of this overall effort? Well,
what's interesting is, yes, you want to say more of an overall approach, but it's very systematic what we've done. We have, teams implemented in each of these states. We have a phenomenal team in Nevada. We have, Rick Grinnell there and the former Attorney General, Adam Laxalt. So they're heading up that operation. We also have the Attorney General, Sean Reyes from Utah, is helping that team. We've got a great team in law firms, in play right now in Arizona. In Georgia, like I said, we have Sonny Perdue, we have Vernon Jones, we have Lynn Wood, we have Stefan Passantino, and we also have Cleta Mitchell in there as well. So this is really top-notch, and of course the senators that are in for the runoff, we have Loeffler in there as well, and Perdue.
Ralph Lauren, the guy from Polo? What? No, do me a favor. I've got, you got all those lawyers. Got a couple more minutes?
Yeah,
Can you stick around?
Sure.
Give me 3 more minutes, all right?
Hey,
we'll be right back with Kimberly. Stay with us. That was pre-COVID.
That never gets old, right?
Very
good, by the way.
Thank you so much.
You're recession-proof. You could get a job. Like in Vegas, you do the Trump impersonation.
I do a slight Trump impression that gets rave reviews. The fake news doesn't seem to get it, do they? They have gotten worse, haven't they? Yeah,
well, obviously. And now, they're delusional, in fact, about it. And all of a sudden, they don't want transparency. They don't want to look into anything. But they were all for investigations before, weren't they? Phony, fraudulent investigations like the Mueller investigation and Russian collusion. But now they're like, nothing to see here, folks.
It is wild. They're wrong about just about everything, from he can't win the nomination to he can't win the election to nothing wrong with Hunter and Joe Biden's totally fine. It just goes on and on and on.
Laptop from hell.
And they seem to all get the same talking points. Take a look at this.
They are coming out and briefing. They have not seen widespread fraud as of yet.
We're going to fact check this in real time for you tonight, because that's not the case. We don't have any evidence of illegal votes in this country.
And there's just no evidence of voter fraud in American elections.
There is no evidence of significant fraud happening in Philadelphia or any place else.
Kimberly, you know how this business works.
Sure.
These folks are saying all this in a studio, like we're in a studio.
Right.
I mean, quite frankly, I'm in Midtown Manhattan, so it's hard for me to find out, but at least I'm open to the possibility.
Well, absolutely. You have a healthy interest in the truth and the veracity, right? And we want to maintain the integrity of the voting system and the process, and that's why we're exercising our constitutional right to do so. But these people are all looking into the same weird crystal ball, right? And saying, oh, yeah, there's no voter fraud. Have they examined any of it? Have they seen any of this?
And I feel like since they're kind of important now and they make all this money and they think, well, you have to bring that to me.
Right.
Instead of us going out there. Rudy Giuliani had this great tip and he made some phone calls and then everyone's like, well, that's not good enough. Bring it to me.
Right.
Instead of maybe they should actually do their job and do a bit of a deep dive and do an investigation to see what's going on. But as usual, we'll do the work for them and show the truth and what's transpired. I mean, I don't know. I think Americans at home don't think it's okay for somebody who's dead, 118 years of age, the person would be, to vote. And this, look, it happens in every election.
Sure.
Every election has anomalies, and this one might have a lot more. Remains to be seen. Kimberly, Guilfoyle, good luck. Very much so. Give our best to the president.
Absolutely, we'll do so. We're going to keep fighting for the American people and for an honest and fair election.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. And we will be right back.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.